everybody, this your girl CC with WIB Magazine, and I got my co-host on the line with me. Hey, Mickey Monday, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good, C. How are you?
I'm good, and happy Tuesday.
Yeah, happy Tuesday to you too.
Thank you. Well, we have a special guest on the line. I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
Yes, well, my name is Dawn Harper Nelson. I'm an Olympic gold and silver medalist. I am a wife and a mom, and I'm training for 2021 Tokyo.
Awesome.
And I'm from
Yes.
East St. Louis. I'm from East St. Louis. Let me throw that part in there.
Well, what made you want to be in the Olympics?
Oh my goodness. Well, as a young child, I started running when I was 12. Really found a passion for it around 8th grade. Then when I went to UCLA, I was like, this is what I'm doing. Just get on board. This is what's happening. But then also having Jackie Joyner Kersey, she's a big influence in my life. I met her when I was like 13. And she just gave me really encouraging words. And I really had the talent, so I just worked hard at it. And yeah.
Wow. Well, how's the experience going on training down there, going to Japan?
So, so the first two Olympics I went to was Beijing and then London. And those experiences, they're mind blowing because, as a child, like I said, you dream about something, you see it on TV, but there's still so much that goes on behind the scenes, just the sacrifices that each individual person makes. And when you get there, people comment and say, people are always crying when they cross the finish line or when they get a medal. It's because there's so much that goes into it. Your whole life is consumed by the Olympics. And so actually to get there, as a child, you learn about the globe, you learn about all the different countries and the people from them, but to actually go there and see with your own eyes that each country has brought their best and they're there to represent to the best of their ability. And then that I was one of those to represent, for America it was really mind blowing because you realize that everything you do represents your country. I mean, on camera, off camera, when you do an interview, the way you speak, people are, oh, Americans are so, if you come across rude, they rude. If you come across so generous, they're so gracious, so just everything you do represents your country. And one story I love to tell is, so they built all these towers in the Olympic Village for all the athletes. And so if you go to your balcony and you look outside, as far as your eyes can see, it's just different countries' flags being draped. And it's just a beautiful thing because it's like, this is what the Olympics is about. Each country being represented, so it's just, it was mind blowing.
Wow. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. It sounds mind blowing too.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Ooh. Okay. So can you take us back to 2008, right? Because that was your first ever Olympic debut pretty much, right?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. So yeah, going back to 2008, I always say I was a baby. I was literally like, I wanted to be there, but you don't understand all that it takes. I was blessed to have a great coach, Bobby Kersey, and, to really help me, guide me along the way. But once I got there, I just remember being like, he's like, hey, it's the same 100-meter hurdles. Don't you turn it into something that is not. And I always describe it as, I pretty much went to him and was like, I'm taking all of the advice from you. You say jump, I'm gonna just say how high. I'm gonna do whatever you say because he's had an Olympic medal, gold medal from every Olympics since, I don't know, like 1980, either 80 or 84, I forget which one we boycotted, but literally, I mean, a gold medal. And so I remember earlier that year in 2008, he sat us all down, all his athletes, and he said, one of you are gonna bring me home a gold medal. And he's like, I'm gonna keep my streak alive. And I remember thinking like, I would love to be that athlete to help him keep that streak alive. And while I was there, just going through the rounds, so there's 3 rounds for the hurdles. And the first round, literally you go out there and you're like, what am I doing here? Like, what did I sign up for? Like, this is cool, but like you realize everything that you work for is in this moment. Like it's either come true or it's gonna come crashing down, And I do remember looking into the stands when I was setting my blocks to run, and it just looked like the stands went just to the sky. And I just remember being like, oh my God, like it put in perspective, like the world's watching you. And so I remember going through the first round and did well. Second round, you start to feel, you're like, okay, I do know how to do this. And after the second round, now you're like, yo, it's put up or shut up. This is the finals. It is what it is, what you're gonna do. And my coach told me, he just reassured me like, you're ready, He actually had me sit with him for a while all my other competitors were warming up. And I just remember thinking, he's lost his mind. Like he went crazy. I need to be warming up. He lost his mind. but he's like, you're ready. There's no more that you need to do. And, you know, really just crossing that line. And the first thing I thought of was, you know, first of all, this is a blessing, but I thought that God felt like this little girl from East St. Louis could take all the blessings, the struggles, everything that this Olympic gold medal was going to come with. He felt like I could handle that. And that was really something special, because I just thought to myself, how many people in this world dream of becoming anything, whatever your dream is. And so many things, just for whatever reason, it doesn't come true, or you get sidelined, it gets pushed back. And for me, my first Olympics to actually go and win, I just was like, God is crazy. It was just,
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
You're right. It is truly a blessing. And then just to, you know, kind of like see things on a timeline, because you graduated from college in 2006, right?
Yeah.
And then literally 2 years later, you're in the Olympics, qualified.
Yeah.
In 2009, you win the visa champion, women's. And then like 2012, you win a silver. In 2017, you win another silver.
Yeah.
And then, you know, then 2018 comes up, right?
Right.
So tell us, like, what, you know, after kind of having that momentum, and then, you know, coming to a shift in perspective versus life, because now you have someone that's born into the world. You know, your daughter's here, and you know your whole mind shifts, right? Because now you're in mother mode.
Right.
Yeah. So what were kind of the like pros and cons of just that whole you know, all those moments encapsulated and then becoming a mom? Like, what was kind of going through your mind at that point? Because I know you said, you know, you've heard many people say that, you know, the child is like the main focus now, like that's your priority, top priority. So kind of just give us, you know, what your take, or like your side of everything.
So that's a huge thing that you just discussed, talking about all the momentum that I had through those years. And that's on your mind, because you think, when do you decide to stop, right? Like, when do you, especially as a woman, I have to stop. Like, we always talk about in sports, you find out a year or two later, like, that dude got a baby. Like, they're so, you know, they don't have to stop their craft. They can continue to just, you know, and for me, I always thought that I wanted to be the type of mother my mother was for me. She was all in, she was focused, like nothing took her attention from me and my sister. And I thought in order to do that, I could not have really anything else major going on in my life. First of all, I was acting like I ain't had no family I was going to help. I just was like, it's just going to be me. It's going to be me and my baby. And so when it came time, when me and my husband got married in 2013, and I remember telling him, you know, like, oh, you know, around like 15, I want to have a baby. And he's like, okay, 15 came. I was like, I mean, I'm still running cool. So like, okay, we're going to push this to like 16. And I was like, wait, no, not 16. Okay, like 17. The blessing was my husband was like, look, his thing is, he always says he knew that when I stepped away from track and field, there would be either a void or something missing that he knew he could not fulfill. So he's like, I want it to be your decision when you walk away. Because he's like, when you come home, I don't need you sad about, I stopped because of you and you wanted a baby, you know, this and that. And so it was a blessing to have someone that supported me in the decision to go to 2018. But now when I make it 2018, now when I actually say it to the world, I go on this farewell tour. But it was hard because you think that, like, yes, I'm stepping away and this is what I want to do. But I had this moment of thinking, like, is my child going to think that like all mama's dreams had to stop to have her? Like, for some reason, that just didn't sit well with me. Like, I remember being pregnant and thinking, like, I kind of got a desire to still run, but no, I got to be a mama. You're done with track. And then I thought, like, all these interviews I'm doing, I was like, my daughter going to listen and be like, so you just gave up on life because you had me? Like, that's how I felt like she was going to hear. And that just sat so wrong with me. And I told my husband, I was like, so let's have a conversation. I think I want to run again. And he's like, I know you. I knew you was going to, you weren't done with track. I was like, you know, like, oh my God, we meant to be together. And what he did say to me was, let's really talk with our families, because it was going to have to be all hands on deck if I'm going to train for the Olympics. So the difference now is, you know, how you said babies typically are like, it's all about the baby, right? Mm-hmm. But for me, I'm blessed to have a village, and my village are my in-laws, are my parents, my sisters, my cousins, my aunts, uncles, like literally I'm back home now because I lived in LA for my whole career. So now I'm home in Illinois where I'm from. All my family is here. And I remember when I talked to them about it saying like, hey, you know, I want to train for the Olympics. And they were like, do it. They were like, because, you know, this is the type of thing, it is a window for an athlete, period, no matter your age. There's a certain window of when you hot, when you got it, when you can do it, and when you physically can do it. And so my family was like, don't you dare think that you're in this alone. And first of all, there were tears because I'm like, y'all really love me. You know what I mean? Like, what? And then I had to find a way to allow myself to be okay to divide time a little bit. And the blessing is my husband's all in. And so now I say there's like the light switch that I got to flick of like, you know, right now I'm doing an interview. Like, okay, I'm athlete. So I just gave my daughter her lunch. I put her down for her nap. I'm like, flick, you're an athlete. Cut the mama off right now. She's sleeping, she's napping. And if she wakes up, Alonzo has her. He's at home right now. And then when 3 o'clock hit, switch, you know, you just got to go back and forth to these things. And so I will say that I've allowed myself to be okay with flicking that light switch. And it took time. I still struggle with it. And I tell my family, I check in with them like, y'all still okay watching her? I'm not doing too much. They're like, give me my baby, you know, type thing. And then she's the first grandbaby on my husband's side, second on my side. So, you know, they just want the baby. They want Harper all the time. So, yeah.
Well, that's good. That's good to have a great support system. And again, congratulations. Definitely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So now that we've discussed that, you know, and just kind of moving along the timeline, right? So now 2019, you're like, all right, I'm back, I'm ramped up, I'm ready to go. 2020 is right around the corner. And then of course, you know, we get the terrible news that the Olympics have been postponed because of the pandemic, global pandemic. So, you know, what was going through your mind when that kind of like, you got that news? Because here you were just, endlessly training, getting everything together, you know, just revitalizing everything, you know, strengthening. And then you get the news that it's pretty much like, boom, you got to stop. You know what I mean? Like,
so the crazy part is when I first heard actually, this younger athlete that I helped mentor, he actually texted me like, it's crazy, the Olympics being postponed. I was like, pause. What you talking about? Like, I literally, it was like early morning. I'm like, he's so crazy. Like, he just doesn't, he's so young. Switch. I'm like, no, I'm not. I really was like, he just didn't, because it was so, because actually the whole pandemic hadn't hit yet, really, to be like, stuff is going to be shut down. We were still kind of on the 2-week, you know, everybody just going to stay in their house for 2 weeks. So I'm like, no, it's not that serious yet. And then like later on that day, I got a message from like someone that I'm like, oh no, they're of age and they know what they're talking about. And I was like, let me kind of check for myself. And I saw it and I'm like, whoa. So at this time it was discussion of it's a good chance that it's going to be postponed. And when they actually announced it, I remember giving myself time to be sad. Like I was, because like you said, you in the grind. You're like, yo, I had already calculated, you got this many days left. You got to get this right. These things got to be clicking. And the thing is I planned on 2020 and then being done with the sport. Like I was Tokyo 2020. And then be like, okay, now I have these other things I want to do. So the question now is, do you continue to put those other things on hold to chase this 2020 dream? And that just wasn't the plan. And so I told myself, like, I'm gonna cry because this is not like, and then they were saying postpone / it could be canceled. Canceled is just, that's a whole nother thing. So then it put it in perspective of how serious it was, because I think it was the last time the Olympics was canceled was because of, I think, World War, I forgot, it's one of the world wars. You see what I'm saying? Like so in my mind, this equates to how serious the pandemic is, because the last time the Olympics was affected was a war. And so I'm like, oh my goodness, this is really life or death for people. And so having a conversation actually with my sister, she's the one that helped me realize how it was really affecting close family members. Because like I said, as an athlete, you get into your bubble and you're like, look, so it's postponed. Now I have to switch these things in training, but you're still thinking of Olympics. I got to do these certain things. But I talked to my sister and she's like, yeah, so we're kind of okay with it being postponed, because the fact that everyone was kind of being like, think about it, money was being affected. People weren't getting paid. My mind is like, you going to the Olympics. And my family had already, amongst themselves, had talked about, okay, so we're going to pull from this, say, because if Dawn goes to the Olympics, we got to go. So, but we don't have money coming in right now. But if she goes, we're going to pull from this savings. We're going to do, and I didn't know this. Like, I just got my head down thinking about the Olympics. So when I had that conversation with my sister, I was like, yo, first of all, my family loves me. But I'm like, no. And then it really just opened my eyes to, Dawn, you need to take a step back, get out the grind for a second, and look at the world. Like, the world is being affected. There are literally lives being affected. And so really just kind of coming to terms with that, and then saying, okay, you have more time to perfect your craft, right? You have more time to work on the things that you were rushing to get done. In a sense, this is going to give you more time to do what you feel like you need to do. And so that's really what, and then it gave me a lot of time at home with my munchkin, with my daughter, because she was going to have to like go with family members or some type of daycare. And so now me and my husband are able to be home and instill in her, just the little things that we want, working on her ABCs, 1, 2, 3s. Y'all know she's going to be 9 months tomorrow. So she's little. Yeah. So, so really being able to not miss, I just get to be in all those moments because she'll come to practice with us. And so it's that's what it's giving me.
Oh,
okay. Wow.
Well, awesome. And maybe it happened everything for a reason so that you can focus, on the baby and not miss those moments with her growing up and stuff. So definitely.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah.
More importantly, this is the first time I've had the opportunity to speak to someone that's been in the Olympics. Like they don't have any kind of like, you got your family coming, they can like kind of set them up or anything like that. They don't do anything like that. No.
You tried it. So no. So what it is they when it comes to, I think like when you get there to the Olympics, you bought all your stuff. They have like you got to think about how many American athletes make it to the Olympics, right? Gotcha. So there's a lot of us. So then what they do that when you get there, like within track and field, they'll say like 20 athletes, we'll give you 2 tickets per, you could give it to like a family member to come to, but it'll be like for this day. And you're like, so, okay, I run 2 days. Like which day do I want them to come? So, okay. I mean, family member, they just gonna have to come out of pocket. No, it does suck. But when you sit back and you're at the Olympics and you're like, oh, the Olympics, we would make no money if we gave everybody a break. It's so many of us there. Mm-hmm. And then so like for me in 2012, I had 7 family members come. They paying for 7 people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, right. So that's what they do is they team up with USA Track and Field teams up with, I'm forgetting the travel agency, but they'll say like, hey, they can help you put together the best package for yourself. Okay, cool. But that's about it.
Dang, I thought you get a little discount code, put it in, what I'm saying, when you buying a ticket.
No. Well, but now they pay for me to go over.
Oh yeah.
Does that help? Yeah. Look, I was like, that's
yeah, I mean,
that's all I got.
But who is your sports hero?
My sports hero will be between 2 people, Jackie Joyner Kersee and Gail Devers. Jackie Joyner Kersee, because I said she has such an influence. We're from the same place, had the same high school coach, college coach, and then college coach is her husband, Bobby Kersee. So that's my professional coach. So we just have that connection. And then Gail Devers, because she went to UCLA, she was one of the main reasons I wanted to go. But to see her overcome the things she did with the disease she had, and just to like, the chick just cold. Let's just be honest. Gail Devers she just cold. So those are the 2 people that, I look up to when it comes to sports.
Okay.
Yeah, so, since we're on the topic, well, we were on the topic earlier, but I want to get back to it because, I just see the incitement whenever you talk about it. Can you share, can you share some mommy tips with us? Just some couple of things that you learned along the way?
So, well, one thing is I'm very organized. I'm very kind of meticulous with how my day goes. Like the night before, if I have things to do, I literally write out, okay, like I'm gonna get up at 9, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and Harper's gonna, and then we're gonna, and I think that's helpful because when you kind of wake up in the morning and you know what you have to do, you kind of just like, I think I'm gonna do that. And then before you know it, 10 minutes went by and you've wasted 10 minutes, and then you're like, and then you get your daughter up or your child, And you know, they're not trying to go along with nothing you saying. And so now it pushes back another 15, 20 minutes. So just kind of having a really good idea of the flow that you want your day to go to, I think that really helps me. And when I write down the schedule, I give myself like a 5-minute window, 10-minute window for certain things. Like an example, your child, they eat, and don't put them in the outfit they're gonna wear for the day. You're gonna set yourself up for failure if you put them in the outfit that they're gonna wear for the day, and then they eat, because they're gonna eat and they're gonna be like, and you're like, why would you rub your hands on your shirt, you know? And so that, and then just be okay though when things do go wrong. Because I am very like, I was supposed to be out the door by 2, and it's 2:10, and I don't understand what went wrong. Like you're a mom now, you're a parent now. It's almost guaranteed to a certain extent it's just not going to go well. So just being okay with the fact that you and your child are healthy and y'all gonna make it out the door when you make it out the door. So I don't know, just those little, just stuff like that.
Okay. That was nice. Yeah. So people who are watching and be able to take a couple tips from you too.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Yeah. I'm nervous about y'all trivia though. Like I'm nervous about y'all. I'm nervous about y'all trivia. I don't know.
No, it's not hard. It's not hard.
Yeah, it's trivia about yourself, not like.
Oh, yeah, it's just regular trivia questions.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, blue, black. I don't know.
So mine is, what's the best, worst, or worst practical joke that you played on someone or they played on you?
Ooh, so to be honest, this is bad. I do not like playing jokes on people. Like, it's something about it, because it's one of those, because I feel like when you see it, I watched this show, Impractical Jokers. I don't know if y'all know about that show, but I feel like there's always that moment when you see the person is like crazy embarrassed. They want to be mad, but they're like, nah, I just do not like that feeling of like, you played a trick on me, and I'm like, really? Like, I just don't know why. I don't like playing jokes on people, so I don't play them on people. I know I just don't do it. Like, my husband even knows. He's like, nah, like, don't. Well, you can do it on Lonzo, but nah. So that's weird. I do not. That's like a pet peeve. I feel like, don't do that to people. That's mean. I don't know. That's how I feel.
I got you.
Wow. You know, I started to ask that question, but I'm glad she asked it first, because that'd have been horrible to end off on. So my trivia question is, what's the most random thing in your wallet or purse that you keep?
Most random thing that I probably saw was, so this, okay, you know what, whatever, okay. But it's not even, it's just random, because I promise to God it's got to be like 3-4 years old. I found this sucker in my bag. I don't know, I haven't eaten a sucker, I'm talking about since like 1990. So I don't even understand why. Wow. Like, I was looking, I lost my keys, right? So I'm going through all my purses, and like my main purse that I kind of take to purse, she killing them. And so I'm going through my purse, and I'm like, it was just like down in the bottom. Like, I pulled it out and was like, hot, like, I can't comprehend when's the last time I touched a sucker. So I don't know how long it's been in there. Women, let's clean out our purses, y'all. We got to do better. That's basically what it comes to. Like, it was a sucker. Like, I mean, that blow pop. Like, y'all, when's those time you had a blow pop?
And how long you had that purse?
That's cute. It's cute, though. Don't be trying to judge. It's cute.
I mean, I'm thinking you probably just move contents from one purse to another, and it might have just been in that.
That's what we gonna go with, because it was so random. Like, I don't even eat candy. Like, I don't know. Somebody set me up. I don't know.
I guess. But before we get off, tell everybody where they can follow you.
So all of my Instagram, all my social media, Instagram, Twitter, DHarp100MH. So that's DHARP 100MH, and then Facebook, Dawn Harper Nelson, my name, and then we have a YouTube me and my husband started, and it's The Real Nelsons. That we started. It's our family, our life, things going on, and my munchkin is on there often. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
I'm definitely gonna have to check it out.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to say congrats on your journey, congrats on everything, congrats on the baby, and thanks for interviewing with us today.
Of course, thanks for having me.
You are absolutely welcome. Thank you so much, Dawn, for coming on here yet again. You know, I really love your energy. You're so cool, down to earth. Congratulations on everything you've achieved so far and what you will continue to achieve. Wow. So, and more importantly, I mean, we'll be looking forward to seeing you next year. So
yeah. I know, it's gonna be crazy.
I might blow up your Twitter and your Instagram. Like,
do it. I reply. Do it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, you have a blessed Tuesday and be safe.
You too, both of you guys.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy your day. All right.
One, two, three.